就是想向所有在多伦多的，还有在世界不同的地方的弟兄姐妹朋友们向你们说声早安。
Yeah, so it's indeed a blessing for us to be able to link up with you all from here in Singapore to share God's goodness.
确实对于我们来说是一个福分，能够可以在透过这个平台可以跟大家相聚。
So let's commit this time to the Lord, that He will grant us an open heart and a humble spirit to receive His word.
让我们一起的把时间就交给神恳求神可以让我们可以有一个谦卑的心，可以接受他的话语。
Okay, let's pray.
一起祷告。
Abba Yahweh,
阿爸亚伟，
we give you thanks that you bring us here together.
我们感谢你召聚我们在一起。
We pray that you grant to us a quietness in spirit,
我们恳求你给我们在心灵里面有一个安静的心灵
that we may draw near to you,
好让我们可以亲近你
and that our ears may be open to your word,
我们耳朵也可以向你的话语开放
that our hearts may be open, Lord, to you speaking to us.
我们的心也向你的话语开放。
And pray that you grant to us a humble spirit,
求你给我们一个谦卑的灵，
that as we receive your word,
当我们去领受你的话语的时候，
that this word will bring to effect what you want to do in our lives.
你的话语能够成就你想在我们生命里面成就的。
So we pray and commit us as your servants too into your hands,
我们把我们自己都交在你的手上，
that Lord, you will anoint us and help us to speak forth your word boldly.
你会高抹我们以知道我们可以勇敢的把你的话语去传开。
Thank you for listening to our prayer. Amen.
谢谢你听了我的祷告，阿门。
So my topic this morning is get ready, be prepared.
我今早的主题呢就是准备就绪。
Now, I think for those from the Logos Fellowship last Friday,
相信呢星期五的那个Logos 的查经组呢，
we were also talking about readiness.
大家会记得我们也是在谈论这个准备就绪的这一个题目。
But when I was preparing this, I didn't know we were going to be studying that.
其实在我预备这个讲道的时候，我不知道星期五就是刚刚过去的星期五，我们讲到这个题目。
So I think this is something which the Lord really wants to speak to us, having to listen to it twice in a few days.
所以我想可能就是主想我们就是在这个题目上面去就是特别的注意好让我们就是在星期五还有今天也在听这个题目。
Yeah, so Clara and myself, we have a young daughter, for those of you who know us, and every night we have to nag her.
大家都知道呢，我们呢有一个小女孩每一个晚上呢，我们都要不厌其烦的呢都要唠叨她一点点。
Are you ready for school tomorrow? Have you finished your homework? Have you packed your bag?
我们就会说你明天的东西准备好了吗？收拾好你的书包了吗？做好你的功课了吗？
So this morning, if you think you are being nagged by us, I hope that you will bear with us and just keep these two thoughts in your head.
所以如果今天早上你觉得我们是在唠叨你一点的话，就希望你可以包容我们也记住两点。
Now, the first point is someone must love me very much in order to nag me.
第一点呢，就是如果有人要唠叨你的话呢，相信应该是挺爱你的。
And second point, there must be something that I'm not doing right, and that's why I deserve the nagging.
第二点呢，就是一定是可能我有一些东西没有做对，所以呢，你就是会听到有人在唠叨你一点点。
So anyway, let's get down to the message.
让我们也真是开始我们的话题。
So since young, we all have been taught the importance of being prepared.
从小我们就就被教导说我们要准备好。
Yeah, from small things such as forgetting to pack something for school and getting scolded for it, we quickly learn that being unprepared is not a good thing.
所以我们从小就知道呢，可能从小小的东西，就是说为了上学，我们要准备好，如果没有准备好，就可能被骂，我们就学习到我们需要准备好。
But this morning, we want to get at something that's more important, of greater consequences.
那今天早上我们想谈一个比较更重要的一个话题，就是我们更加要为这个事情要准备好。
Now, what might some of these things be?
这一些是什么东西呢？
So the Chinese have a saying, 男人最怕入错行，女人最怕嫁错郎。
So okay, I will use English, right? So for the men, right, the worst fear is to get into a wrong career. As for the ladies, that is probably to get married to a wrong man.
And so nowadays, of course, the separation of roles between men and women is not so clear. And so you could say that, it's doubly stressful for everyone, have to look at both work and family issues.
可能现在呢，先进的社会呢，那个男女的界限，那个角色没有分得这么清楚所以呢，可能男女呢都怕找错工作入错行，或者是呢娶了或者嫁错人。
Now, Bible has a lot to say about work and family, but we're not going to talk about that today.
当然，圣经里面也是说了很多关于家庭跟工作的方面的东西，可是我们今天不会着重这一方面去说。
So what else? What else do we get prepared for other than such life events?
所以除了这些东西之外，就是我们有什么东西是需要准备好的呢？
Well, some might say, well, we need to get ready, for the unexpected things in life.
我们就说我们需要呢未雨绸缪，为了一些呢可能我们还没有预料的事情呢，要做好准备。
Such as, the current COVID pandemic.
就好像现在最近的这一个新冠病毒。
Of course, even the pandemic is not totally unexpected. Scientists have been predicting about it for a long time.
其实呢，这个新冠病毒这一种流感这一种的问题，其实也不是完全的出乎意料之外。其实很多的科学家一直的都有预言说有这一种的问题会出现。
So you can see, those countries, they were better prepared. Of course, they could have a better response to it.
所以我们可以看到有一些国家可能他们比较有准备的，他们呢其实能够比较好的去应付这些的问题。
Well, what I'm going to talk about this morning is even much more important than being prepared for such unexpected events.
那其实我今天想说的，其实比这一些刚才说的更加重要，就是我们更加需要准备好的。
It's of utmost importance with very serious consequences if we are not prepared.
这个是对于我们非常非常的重要。如果我们没有准备好的话呢，那个后果就非常的严重。
And what I'm talking about is not just my concern, it's not just our concern, but it's also Jesus' concern.
这个呢不只是我们的一个的担心，我们一个的关心。其实呢，主耶稣也非常的关注这个问题。
So let's look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 37 to 39 and verse 44.
我们一起可以翻开马太福音24章37到39节，还有44节。
I'll first read in English and then Clara will read in Chinese. So, verse 37, for the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. 38, for as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. Verse 44. For this reason, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not think he will.
马太福音24章37到39节，还有44节，那里说，挪亚的日子怎样，人子来临也要怎样。在洪水以前的那些日子，人照常吃喝嫁娶，直到挪亚进方舟的那日，不知不觉洪水来了，把他们全都冲去。人子来临也要这样，所以你们也要预备，因为在你们想不到的时候，人子就来了。
So in this passage, Jesus was reminding the Jews about this event called the coming of the Son of Man.
所以耶稣呢就在提醒那些犹太人说，关于人子来的那个日子。
It's something which the Jews know about because it is recorded for them in the book of Daniel.
这些呢，其实犹太人都是很熟悉的，因为在但以理书也是已经预言了。
And this prophecy is about God saying there will be a final judgment. And with that comes the ushering of a new age where this Son of Man will come and reign as the king.
这个预言就是说，神就说预言说一定会有一个大的审判，然后这个审判以后呢，就有一个新的世代，然后人子就会来，也会做王。
Who is this Son of Man?
谁是人子呢？
Now, Jesus often uses this term to refer to himself. He is the Son of Man, and after he dies and is resurrected, he will rise to heaven, and one day he will come to judge the world.
主耶稣呢就是人子他常常就把自己都是这样的称呼。当他死后复活之后呢，有一天他会再来来审判这个世界。
And Jesus is here comparing this coming judgment with the judgment in the days of Noah.
耶稣呢就把这个来临的这个审判呢，就跟挪亚的日子来做一个比喻。
So think about those days. God gave those people in the days of Noah many chances.
所以想想挪亚的日子，那个时候神给了挪亚日子的那个世代的那些人很多的机会。
They heard with their ears.
他们耳朵也听了很多。
Yeah, they heard from Noah how God was going to send this flood to destroy all life on earth.
他们从挪亚那一边听到呢，就说神将会怎么会以洪水了去把这个那时候的那个世代呢，把所有的生物呢都会冲走。
They saw for themselves how Noah was preparing for this coming judgment by building the ark.
他们也亲眼的目睹挪亚他怎么样的去建方舟，去预备这个洪水的来临。
But after hearing all this and seeing all this, how did they react?
可是看到这些或者听到这一些，他们的反应是怎么样呢？
They lived life as before.
他们就是如常的生活，
Eating, drinking, marrying, preparing for marriage.
就是吃喝嫁娶，
Until judgment came upon them.
一直到那个审判来到他们当中。
So Jesus wants us to learn from these people.
耶稣想我们去向这一些的人有一个借鉴，
And that is, don't be like them.
就是不要像他们。
Now, Jesus is not saying that we cannot eat or we cannot drink or we cannot get married.
主耶稣不是说呢不可以吃喝或者嫁娶。
What he's saying is that life doesn't just consist of preparing for all these things.
主要是说呢，生命不只是限于这个吃喝嫁娶这一些东西而已。
There's something even more important than all these, and that's a future judgment that all of us have to face.
有比这一些吃喝嫁娶更重要的，就是将要来临的这个大的审判。
And the consequences of not preparing for that is much, much more serious because it concerns our eternal salvation.
如果我们没有为了这个审判而准备好的话呢，那个的后果会更加的严重。
And so Jesus is warning the Jews, you know the prophecy, and yet you are living as per normal.
所以主耶稣那时候就是要警告那些犹太人说，你们都知道这一个的预言，可是你们还是这样如常的吃喝嫁娶的生活下去。
If we think about that, isn't that our situation today too?
那如果我们想想的话，我们其实今天的情况是不是也是差不多呢？
For those of us who are in the church, we hear many times about Jesus coming.
我们在教会里面的，我们也是听了很多关于主耶稣将要回来的这个事情。
Why is it that we are not getting ready for his return?
那为什么我们好像没有去为了他的回来做好准备呢？
So today I want to leave with you 3 points for us to think about.
所以今天我想跟大家分享3点让大家一起的去思想。
So first of all, we don't prepare. Why? Because we don't take it seriously.
第一呢，为什么我们没有为一个东西准备好呢？就是因为我们不觉得我们没有认真的对待这一个事情。
Maybe some amongst us will say, look, I don't even believe in Jesus, right? So why should I care if he comes?
可能我们当中有说，我们其实还没有相信主耶稣，所以我当然就没有管他几时会要来，他为了他的回来而准备。
Like those people in Noah's day, right? Perhaps some of them will think, really? Are you so sure there's going to be such a big flood that, all of us have to go and hide in some ark somewhere?
所以可能好像就是挪亚的日子的时候，有一些人就觉得说，真的吗？真的话会有这个洪水吗？我们真的是要躲在这个方舟里面吗？
And we can see from this passage that their outcome highlights the danger of asking the wrong questions.
所以我们可以看到，就是说当时呢，因为他们问错问题，所以他们也是要面对一个很严重的后果。
And we see many modern examples. Not believing that you can catch COVID doesn't mean that you're immune to it.
所以好像现在这个新冠病毒也是有一个类似的情况，就是说你不相信有那个新冠病毒，不等于你不会感染到这个新冠病毒。
Not believing in climate change doesn't mean that it's not happening.
你不相信那个气候的那个暖化变化，也不等于你不会受到它的影响。
Simply not believing does not change the facts.
你不相信不等于你不相信不能够改变那个事实。
It is just being cowardly, not daring to face up to the truth and not daring to find out if something is really true.
其实呢，只是一个懦弱的一个表现，就是不愿意的去为了真理真相或者事实的去寻求。
Well, maybe most of us in the church, we say, oh, we're not like that. We believe that Jesus will come again.
或者我们当中大部分在教会里面的，我们觉得说，我们相信我们相信主耶稣会回来的。
However, what we do betray what's really happening in our heart.
可是我们做的跟我们心里面所相信的，好像也不是很一致。
So take for example, climate change. Many say it's a very serious issue. We must tackle it.
所以好像那个气候变化变暖这个问题，有些人就说我相信，可是他们做的也不一样。
Yeah, so when it comes to making real lifestyle changes, it's just lip service. They're not doing anything about it.
所以如果要他们呢做出生活上的一些的改变呢，好像他们也什么都没有做，只是在嘴边就是说他们相信。
So likewise, is Jesus' second coming? Is it something real to us, or is it just a concept in the head?
所以同样主耶稣再来的这个事实，是否是真实的呢？还是只是我们头脑的一个思想而已呢？
Something becomes real to us only when we personally experience it and we live it out in our lives.
如果一个真的是事实的话呢，除非是我们亲身的经历，而且在我们的生命里面呢，可以反映出呢，我们的生活的方式是反映出这个事实。
Yeah, it's no use if it's just merely a concept that's stuck here in the head.
如果只是一个在头脑上面的一个的概念的，其实是没有什么用的。
So the question we ask, how do we make Jesus' second coming a lived reality in our lives?
所以我们就问了，我们怎么可以就是在我们生命里面把主耶稣再来的这个事实真的是实现出来的在我们生活里面可以表现出来的。
So I'd just like to share a recent experience.
所以我想就是跟大家分享的最近一个经历。
So in March, we were in back to Singapore.
所以3月的时候呢，我就从马来西亚就回来新加坡。
I couldn't go back because of all the restrictions due to this COVID pandemic.
因为这个新冠病毒的那些封锁的那个措施呢，永泰就不能够回去马来西亚。
Yeah, I could only look forward to Clara and my daughter Suzanne coming back to Singapore, but all the time exactly when they will come back.
我那个时候呢，就是永泰那个时候呢，只是可以希望呢，可以就是我跟 Suzanne 就是我们的女儿，我们可以，可是Derek 也不几时可以发生这个事情。
thing was certain, and that is every day was one day nearer to their return.
所以可是呢，有一样他可以确定的就是呢，每一过去一天呢，就是会靠近我们回来的一天。
And every day was one day nearer to a reunion with them.
每一天呢，就是一天靠近跟我们重聚的一天。
And that made my heart beat a little faster.
所以他说呢，他就心里面就很兴奋，每天都兴奋一点。
The thought of them coming back really excited me.
所以他就想说太太跟女儿可以回来了，他就觉得说非常的兴奋。
But of course, at the same time, the heart beat faster because there was this in my head.
除了呢很开心，就是很兴奋他们会回来了，里面呢很多东西需要做的。
I will do this and I will do that, and well, it's not done yet.
在他的心里面呢，他就想其实他答应呢，我们还没有回来之前呢，他答应在家里要处理什么什么什么东西，可是还没有做。
Yeah, but actually, you look at this in comparison to other people. Susanna coming back.
所以，可是相对来说呢，其实有很多人也知道呢，我跟Susanna也是，就是我跟女儿呢也是会回来的。
So it's not that it's not real, but to them, they didn't have to prepare anything because it didn't matter much to them.
这个对于其他人来说呢，这个也是一个事实。可是对于他们来说呢，无关重要的。其实他们也不需要准备什么东西。
But to me, Clara and Suzanne's return was a lived reality, was something real. Experienced every day because I was waiting in anticipation for them and I was preparing.
可是对于Derek 来说呢，这个呢是非常的贴身。非常的重要，非常的真实的一个的事实。他每天都期盼，而且每天需要想怎么样去准备我们回来。
And the reason for that is because a living relationship with me. I have a living relationship with them.
不呢，就是因为呢，我们有一个就是亲密的关系，就是一个家庭的亲密的关系。
And so the question we want to ask.Do we have a living relationship with Yahweh? Living relationship with Jesus?
我们有没有一个跟亚伟神、跟主耶稣一个真实的呢？
Does Jesus coming back excite us?
主耶稣的再来有没有兴奋的呢？
Or are we just oblivious to the various signs that we see around us? That He's coming again.
还是我们对于主耶稣快要回来的这一些所有的征兆，我们是
coming, stirring any nagging thoughts that there's some unfinished work that we have to do, that there's something that we have to account for to God for what He has given to us, our time, our energy.
我们心里面会不会有一个？就心里面呢，就想说，主耶稣要回来了，我们还有什么东西还没有做，还没有，就是会影响我们的心里面会有一点担心呢？
Or is it something that we don't pay attention to?
还是一些其实没有什么重要，没有关系。
And so, if we live every day unaffected by Jesus coming, whether in a good way or a bad way,
所以如果我们每一天的生活跟主耶稣要再来的这个事实呢，其实正面负面都没有什么影响，没有什么关系的话呢
then we have to seriously examine ourselves whether we have a living relationship with God, with Yahweh God, whether we have a living relationship with Jesus in the first place.
如果是这样子，我们就要认真的去问自己，究竟我们是否真的是有一个活生生的跟亚伟神和主耶稣有一个活生生的关系。
And if not, we should get down on our knees and humbly cry out to God for His mercy.
那如果没有的话，我们真的是要来到神的面前，就是跪下来求神去怜悯我们。
So come to the second point. We don't prepare because we think we have a lot of time, not now, but later. We have a lot of time later.
第二点呢，就是 我们没有准备，是因为我们觉得说，我们有很多时间 ，OK， 我们暂时我们知道我们要做，可是我暂时不需要做，所以迟一点才做。
So just now we saw in verse 44, Matthew 24, verse 44, it says, "The Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not think he will."
刚才在马太福音那边的第24章的第44节那边说，所以你们也要预备，因为在你们想不到的时候，人子就来了。
We say we believe he will come, just that we don't believe he will come now.
我们说我们相信他会回来，可是我们觉得说还没有来。
And one reason why we think and we act in this way is because we don't have time for everything.
其中一个原因就是说，为什么我们这样想，这么做呢？这么表现呢？就是因为呢，其实我们没有时间做所有一切的我们想做的东西。
So what we do is we end up dealing with what is more immediate or urgent.
所以我们最后就是把那些非常赶的、非常急的急要的东西呢，我们先做。
And that's the second danger that Jesus was warning us about.
那就是呢，主耶稣要警告我们的第二个危险的点。
And that is we allow the immediate, the eating, the drinking, the marrying, all these immediate things to crowd out what is important, and that is his second coming.
就是我们让那一些似乎是急需的，就是要吃、要喝、要加取的这些东西呢，把它把那个更加重要的，就是他要回来的这个事实呢，把它推在后面。
Why do we behave in such a manner?
为什么我们会这样表现呢？
So 3 sub-points I want to talk about.
那我有3个小点。
First, we focus on immediate things because these give us immediate rewards.
第一呢，就是我们集中的就是立刻现行的这些东西，因为呢，我们立刻就会受到那个回报。
All this eating, drinking, marrying, it gives us immediate satisfaction.
就是这个吃喝加取这些东西呢，就是可以立刻的给我们那个满足。
However, they cloud our eyes to what is truly important.
可是呢，这些就把那个更重要、真正重要的这个东西呢，就蒙蔽我们的眼睛了。
And the danger is if we keep finding satisfaction in all these immediate things, we risk forgetting that we also have these important things that can truly satisfy us for all eternity.
那如果我们继续让这一些立刻急需的需要就是来满足我们的话呢，我们就会很容易的就忘记真正重要真正属灵方面永恒重要的那一些的东西。
Second, we deal with these immediate things because it gives us greater assurance.
第二点呢，就是为什么我们会先处理那一些急需的这些的事情呢？就是因为它给我们立刻或者是更加多的那个的肯定跟确据。
So when Jesus is coming, it's not up to us.
主耶稣几时回来呢？其实我们不是我们可以决定的。
We are not in control, so it puts us in an uncomfortable position.
我们不能够控制，所以我们就觉得有一点不自在。
Yeah. So what do? We busy ourselves with a lot of immediate things. We preoccupy our time, things that we can plan. We can make sure that something gets done.
所以呢，我们与其是觉得不自在，不知道可以为这些不能控制的这个事情做什么东西，我们就把自己呢就弄到自己很忙的去处理这一些急需的现在面对的事情。
And we derive our assurance from all these visible accomplishments instead of receiving assurance from exercising our faith.
所以我们就满足于现在可以成就的那一份的成就感，然后也就把我们那个怎么可以运用我们的信心去经历那一份属灵的那个确据呢，我们就抛在后面。
Third point, we think all these immediate things cannot wait.
第3点呢，就是我们觉得呢，这一些 急需的吃喝嫁娶这些东西呢，是不能够等的。
We feel pressured, right, to attend to these immediate things because we can't let go.
因为我们觉得说，非常的有那个压迫感的，一定要去处理这一些急需的东西，因为我们也不可以放手。
Yeah, I think all of those who go shopping will know, everywhere you go, they'll have signs to tell you limited time offer, 1 day sale, this kind of thing.
如果你去就是逛街，你去买东西的时候，有促销的时候，他一定说是限时的一个促销，你一定要在几时以内，一定要买的。
And so many of us fall for this trick, oh yes, it's just short term, you better buy something, buy it, and the next day it's still a 1 day sale. 2 weeks later, it's still a 1 day sale.
我们就很多时候就被这一些的促销的那个手法呢就蒙骗了，可能再过多一天还是最后一天，过多2个星期还是最后一个促销。
But in contrast, his second coming, it doesn't seem so urgent.
那相对来说呢，主耶稣的来临就好像不是那么急了。
We think we will have lots of time later to deal with it.
我们觉得说我们有很多之后还有很多时间的去面对去应付。
But the truth is, what is immediate and urgent will ensure that later never comes.
可是呢，那些所谓急需要处理的东西呢，就会弄到呢这个迟一点才处理这个重要的这个东西呢，是永远都不会回来，永远都不会达成。
So in Mark chapter 13, verse 1 and 2, which is the parallel passage to what we read just now in Matthew 24, we read what is it that triggered this discussion that Jesus had with his disciples about the second coming.
在这个刚才读的那个马太福音24章的那个平行经文呢，是在马可福音13章第1到第2节那一边呢，就让我们有一个对于这个经文的马太福音24章这一段经文的那个背景呢，有多一些的资料。
So the disciples and Jesus, they were at the temple, and the disciples said to Jesus, "Teacher, behold, what wonderful stones and what wonderful buildings." And Jesus said to him, "Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone will be left upon another which will not be torn down."
马可福音13章的第1到第2节，当时主耶稣跟他的门徒在一起，他们在那个圣殿的时候，耶稣从圣殿里出来的时候，有一个门徒对他说：“老师，请看，这是多么了不起的石头，多么了不起的建筑。”
And so similarly, for many people today, their immediate concern is to build a lasting legacy.
所以其实好像现代很多的人觉得说，他们其实想呢，现在呢，能够呢，留一个名，就是流芳百世。
So we pour all our time, they pour all their time, their energy to build a great name for themselves.
所以我们把我们的时间精力希望呢可以建造一个好名。
Or maybe it's a great family or a great company, or maybe like the country down below, a great country,
可能是或者是我们想建立一个伟大的家庭，一个伟大的公司，甚至是一个伟大的国家。
But truth is, all these will pass away one day.
可是事实上，就是这些所有的都会过去。
Let's look at Jesus. He's the same as us with a short life. But in his short life, what preoccupied him?
我们看看主耶稣，他的生命其实也是挺短的。可是，在他的生命里面，什么是对他最重要的呢？就是他常常关注的呢？
The disciples, thinking they have a lot of time, their focus was on the temple.
那些门徒觉得说他们有很多时间，而且他们的集中呢，就是焦点呢，就是在地上的那个圣殿。
But Jesus, he was focused on the spiritual temple. He was focused on the church.
可是主耶稣呢，他的焦点呢，就是在于那个属灵的圣殿教会。
And indeed, a few days after saying this passage, a few days later, he laid down his life and became the chief cornerstone of that spiritual temple.
确实呢，过了几天之后耶稣讲了这一些话的几天之后呢，他真的是把自己的 生命舍去，就成为那个房角石。
And even in these last few days, he was still busy. He was busy preparing his disciples.
而尽管是在他生命的最后那几天，他还是很忙碌的去预备他的门徒。
He was preparing them for his departure and preparing them for the subsequent work.
他在预备这些门徒他们将要离开，而且就是希望更重要的是预备他们日后的那些的工作。
So we ask ourselves this question: in the remaining days that we have, what is it that keeps us preoccupied?
所以我们要问我们的我们问一下自己，就是我们剩下的余生我们要什么东西是占据我们呢？
Is it the immediate or is it the important?
是那些急需要处理的吗？还是重要的？我们真的重要需要处理的？
Let it not be the case that we are found wanting because we thought that we still had a lot of time.
让我们不会后悔莫及因为我们以为自己还有很多时间。
So we come now to the third and the last point. We don't prepare because others are not doing it. So why should I?
那第三个大点呢？我们说为什么我们没有预备呢？就是因为每个人都没有这样预备嘛，每个人都没有这样做，所以我也不需要做。
So in Mark chapter 13, verse 33 to 37, Jesus used the short analogy to talk about the need to be alert and ready for his return.
所以在马可福音13章33到37节，耶稣呢就用了一个的比喻去讲出我们怎么需要提高警觉准备为他的回来而做出准备。
It says, "Take heed, keep on the alert, for you do not know when the appointed time will come. It is like a man away on a journey, who upon leaving his house and putting his slaves in charge, assigning to each one his task, also commanded the doorkeeper to stay on the alert. Therefore, be on the alert, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, whether in the evening, at midnight, or when the rooster crows, or in the morning. In case he should come suddenly and find you asleep. What I say to you, I say to all, be on the alert."
马可福音13章33到37节，你们要谨慎、警醒、祈祷，因为你们不晓得那日期几时来到。这事正如一个人离开本家，寄居外邦，把权柄交给仆人，分派个人当做的工，又吩咐看门的警醒。所以你们要警醒，因为你们不知道家主什么时候来，或晚上，或半夜，或鸡叫，或早晨。恐怕他忽然来到，看见你们睡着了。我对你们所说的话，也是对众人说，要警醒。
So when we read this passage, we often read it as a warning to us as individuals.
所以很多时候读这一段经文的时候呢，我们觉得说是对我们个人的一个的警告。
I must be alert. I must not be asleep when he comes.
当主耶稣回来的时候，我一定要警醒，我一定不可以睡着。
That's true, but Jesus means more than that.
那个是对的，可是呢，主耶稣要讲更多的。
In verse 36, it says, "In case he should come suddenly and find you asleep."
第36节说，免得他忽然来到，看见你们睡着了。
The "you" here is in the plural form. In the original Greek, it says "you" is in the plural form, meaning all of you are asleep.
这里是你们，就是说恐怕你们都睡着了。
You see, not being ready is infectious, perhaps even more so than COVID.
你看这个没有准备就绪呢，其实是好像一个传染病这样子的可能比那个新冠病毒呢那个传染力更大。
So one person slackens, and then he says, "Well, nothing happens."
一个人懒惰没有发生什么事情啊。
And the next day, a few will see, and they will join him, right?
就过了几天第二天有多几个人又多几个人的去跟他一样。
And before long, the whole group will be taking things easy.
就是不久之后呢，就发现整个组都跟他一样，就是什么都慢慢来就好了。
So do you see our problem here?
所以你看到我们的问题吗？
We have to admit that if we look around us, there's much apathy all across the church.
我们要承认呢，其实呢，在教会里头呢，其实我们很多都是有一点漠不关心的一个的状态。
You look around and it's very easy, for our hearts to grow cold.
如果我们作为去看一下的时候，可能很快呢，我们的心有开始呢变冷。
If everybody else is not getting ready, then why should I be so excited about it? Maybe I can wait a while more.
可能我们跟自己说，其实每个人都好像关心了，为什么我要这么兴奋呢？可能我再等一下吧。
And so can you see, if the whole church is cold towards Jesus coming, how is the world going to see that there's more to life than just the empty pursuit of all these material things?
所以，如果教会对主耶稣的再来都是冷漠的，都是漠不关心的话，那我们怎么可以这个世界其他的人会看到这个生命呢？是不只是去追随这个物质的这一些的东西，更重要的东西，他们需要去看到的。
So can you hear Jesus' earnest plea?
所以你可以看到主耶稣的这一个恳切的一个的祈求吗？
4 times in that short passage, he says, "Be on the alert."
刚才我们读了那个短短的那个经文呢，其实主耶稣讲了4次，就是
He's not just issuing a warning, but he's also
他不只是给我警告，其实呢，他也是给了我们一个的解决方案。
You see, it's not just apathy that's infectious. Enthusiasm can also be infectious.
不单只是漠不关心是可以传染的，其实呢，积极的给别人的。
So slaves, if all of us put our master's interests first, can unity of mind can achieve?
大家都作为主人的仆人的话，我们都把主人的那一个的心都摆在第一位的话，你可以想象那个的合一的那可以成就了什么？
We will be rebuking the lazy, right? We'll be helping those. And all this with the one thought: the master must not suffer loss when he returns, that everything that he has will be done.
会可能责备那一些，会帮助那一些在挣扎的，都共同的有一个的目标，有一个心智，就是我们的主人不可以失败，我们不可以偷懒，不可以让他回来落空。那每个人都会就是各按其功的去做我们的本分。
You see that the picture is the master. Now, all of us love the master. The master is coming back, so we cannot let him suffer any loss just because one of us slackened.
所以那个图画就是说我们都期待就是那个主人要回来大家都为了主人要吃的心智去努力。
So can you see what glorious light will shine forth if the whole church functions in that manner?
所以我们可以看那个整体都这样的去活，这样子去操作。
Do all of us see that what the master wants is not just one or two or some of us that he can call his faithful servants? He wants to call his good and faithful servants.
是想说看到1、2个他的称他们是忠心的仆人，而是他想所有他的仆人当他回来的时候都是忠心的仆人呢。
He doesn't want to come back and see, oh, it's just the lawn is manicured or the windows are clean. He wants to see that everything is all done.
我们可以看到，就是说，我们主人不止有歌，或者是那个有讲说他整个家都是准备好的，迎接他回来的。
And that is the secret of the early church.
那就是早期教会的那个。
Together, they prepared for the Lord's second coming.
一起的，他们一起去预
And through their lives lit for a whole generation.
生命里面的那份的火，他们当时那个世代呢也点燃起来。
So may God help us read this last.
神帮助我们在这个末世的这个日子里面呢，重新的去看到抓到这个的意象。主耶稣，请你来，让我们一起祷告。
Dear Heavenly Father,
我们的亲爱的，
continue to stir in our
你继续的在我们心里面的去动工。
Jesus' return, Lord.
也真的是这一个主耶稣要再回来的这个意象。
Prepare, Lord, for His return.
认真的去殷勤的去为了主耶稣的再来而预备。
So we pray and ask for your.
我们祈求你的宽恕。
Past, Lord, we have been slow.
如果在过去的日子怠慢的，
If we have been thinking that we have a lot of time on our hands,
如果我们觉得说我们的手里面有很
or we have not taken your words seriously,
或者是我们没有认真的去看待你的话语，
Lord, I pray that you will forgive us and help us to repent and quickly come back to you again.
神啊，我们恳求你宽恕我们，也可以帮助我们快点的回去你面前。
So hear our earnest prayer.
主恳求你也一个恳切的祷告，
Not just ourselves, but for this generation, Lord.
不只是为了我们自己，也是为了这个时代。
That in these last days, Lord, we may raise up a beacon of light for your glory.
日子里面我们可以为了你的荣耀也为了发光。
Thank you for listening to our prayer.
谢谢你听我们的祷告，阿门。
We pass the time back to Pastor Stan.
先交给斯坦尼牧师。
So thank you, Brother Derek and Sister Clara. Yeah, thank you for the enthusiasm, for waiting for our Lord Jesus to come back.
我们也谢谢他们对于就是主耶稣的来临那种的兴奋。
Yeah, although there were a little bit of technical difficulties, but I assume that everyone was able to get the main message.
虽然可能网上也有一点问题，但是我相信大家都是能够得到就是最重要的信息。
Yeah, I think I can really feel Brother Derek's enthusiasm when he was waiting for Clara to come back to him to Singapore.
我真的能感觉到，就是 Derek 弟兄就是那种的等待，他太太 Clara 姊妹回去新加坡。
Yeah, so I hope that, just like what Brother Derek shared, that we also share the same enthusiasm, if not even more, for the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.
所以就希望像 Derek 弟兄说的，我们也能够有就是等待耶稣基督再来的那种的